Well, howdy folks, and welcome back to the channel. As you can see behind me, we have yet another M151. We went up and picked this up basically from the same individual that we got the last two from. This is the last one that he had. So, and we know that he doesn't particularly care to be filmed or on YouTube, so we didn't film driving up there and getting it. As you can see, it's this one here has definitely been modified. It has been converted to 12 volt, although I'm not 100% sure how they did that with the distributor, because it still has the waterproof distributor in it. Let's go ahead and pop the hood up and you guys can see what they've done. We have a 12 volt generator, and it looks like they went ahead and put an oil pressure switch. I'm not real sure what that switch is all about there. That's in the location that you would have the pressure cutoff switch for the fuel pump. But if you look here, it's got the waterproof ignition or the waterproof distributor, but I can't tell whether or not it what it's got for a coil in there and how they managed to do that. So but the motor is locked up. We tried it and it's locked up tight, but it's been sitting without spark plugs in it for who knows how long. So, and as you can see, this one here, this side isn't too bad, but they've gone ahead and, this side's been kind of smashed in a little bit, and it looks like they may have kind of flared it out for these bigger tires and wheels, which we're going to be removing. It's got a roll bar on it. The battery tray, I don't know what the heck all these leaves are. I got to get those cleaned out. But the battery tray's got some rust out on it, as does the spot for the fuel tank. The toolbox area doesn't look too bad, but until we get all the leaves out of there, we're not going to know for sure. But this one here, we're going to get it off the trailer and hopefully be able to get a good inspection done on it. It's pretty windy up here today. We have basically the remains of the hurricane that's coming through, coming up from Mexico, and so we're getting some pretty bad wind up here right now. I'm hoping that that this goes ahead and comes out okay. So let's see if we can go ahead and get the forklift fired up and see if we can get this thing off of the trailer. All right, now when we went to pick this thing up, we had to go ahead and pull it with his forklift around a building to get it lined up with the trailer through his gate. This thing is, right now it's locked into four-wheel drive. I haven't been able to get it to disengage. The other thing that was rather interesting is it would not turn. Even with the steering wheel turn, it was pushing his little forklift. His forklift is roughly half the size of mine. And so I'm gonna go ahead and lift up the back end of this, because I got a funny feeling that that rear differential may be locked up side to side. Somebody may have welded up the differentials. I don't know, so we got to figure that out. All right, well, that answers that question. It has not been welded up or locked up, which is a good thing. So now we got to go ahead and get it picked up, and so we can do a little bit of an underbody inspection. We're going to do this a little bit differently than we have in the past. I got to go find my fork extensions, but I'll be right back. Okay, this is maybe a little bit safer than the last way I did it with the chain. So we're going to go ahead and lift this thing up and take a look and see what it looks like underneath. All right, we are going to kind of try to steer clear as best we can, so that if the wind starts getting too crazy, we can get out from underneath it and get it dropped down as quickly and as easily as possible. The underside of it really doesn't look horribly bad. The exhaust system is definitely not original, but it does still have the original heat shield, which that's a good thing. We do have rust in the typical places here, and you know, in this spot here underneath where the fuel tank sits. But other than that, it's got some dentage and some right there, but it doesn't look too bad on this end here, at least. So it is pretty filthy underneath there, so we are definitely going to have to get in here with a pressure washer and get it cleaned up. And this front suspension, oh yeah, it's definitely is going to need to be rebuilt, because the bushings are completely freaking shot in this thing. I don't know how long it's been sitting, but it's probably been sitting for a while. And it is definitely locked into four-wheel drive. So we're gonna have to figure out what that is all about. But underneath it actually looks pretty good, and it is definitely not cut. So this one looks like it may have some potential. Don't know how much potential. Right now it's going to end up, we got to pull the tires and wheels off of it, and we got to find some original ones or some stock ones to put back on it, because the guy does want his chrome wheels back. So we'll end up having to do that. I know that well, let's go ahead and let this thing back down off of the rack here. Okay, we can see that up underneath here it's been hammered pretty hard. Sorry folks, I went squirrel there for a second. Yeah, it looks like we got the same kind of thing happening over here. So this one definitely is going to be quite a project. And I'm not 100% sure, like I said, what we're going to do with this one yet. We may end up combining this one and that one over there to make one good vehicle. One of the challenges on this one is going to be some of the rust areas, and you know, changing the power packs, that's a nothing deal. But we've got quite a bit of body damage over here, and you know, quite a bit of Bondo. It seems that whenever these guys got a hold of these things, after they got surplused out, that was the first thing they did, is frickin' attacked them with a 5-gallon bucket of Bondo. So it's got kind of a unique little fuel pump location there, and they put, you know, commercial turn signals on it. I don't know, well, and we do have quite a bit of Bondo there, and I'm pretty sure there's some other issues with the windshield frame. Obviously, we're missing the glass, so we're gonna have to get that. But at any rate, we'll get this cleaned up and see what we can do with it. And you know, like I said, it may just end up being a parts vehicle, but I know we got to pull the steering column. We have to pull the steering box and the steering column out of there, and that's one of the main reasons why I got this one. We got it in trade, you know, for some things, and so I'm not out any cash on it, but we got it mainly for parts to fix Chuck's Jeep, because the steering box on Chuck's Jeep, which you can see it's in the backyard right there, yeah. The steering box is completely trashed in his. I think that's the reason why it's been sitting and you haven't seen me driving it. It is literally dangerous to drive on the highway. The steering box is so worn out on it. Steering box and all of the front end bushings. So what we're probably going to end up doing is we're probably going to end up pulling the front end off of this one, pulling the and rebuilding this front end completely side to, you know, axle to axle to put onto Chuck's Jeep, so that we can just unbolt this cross member and bolt the other one on. Obviously we have to pull the power pack out of this one. It's missing the radiator, and it's locked up. So any rate, stick around. We're going to be doing some more work on this, and you guys will be seeing some of this stuff probably over the winter is when we're really going to go ahead and concentrate on these projects, and we'll keep you informed on that. So at any rate, but for right now, we have to get into the M1009 Blazer, and we have to get out about 15 miles from the house here and get set up to watch the Vegas to Reno guys go blasting by. So at any rate, stick around. We're going to head out there here pretty quick. All right, folks, well, we are in the Blazer and we are passing by the Minnesota mine there, and we are headed out to Churchill Canyon Road, which is where the Vegas to Reno course runs up. We have not been out here to watch the races from this vantage point, hopefully it'll end up being pretty good. Hopefully we don't end up with a whole bunch of people out there, because this is a fairly popular place for the locals to come out to. But at any rate, we'll show you how everything looks like when we get there. Hopefully we get there before the first trucks come through. right, folks, we are out here alongside the course. Should be kind of an interesting spot to watch them from. They're not going to be going full bore, you know, 100 miles an hour through here, but there's a couple of tight turns that we'll be able to watch them go through, and so we're just waiting for them to show up. Yes, you saw that, and it was right what you saw. That was a three-wheeler, and he has ridden that three-wheeler all the way from Amargosa Valley. We are at mile 4 something, almost a mile 500. So he's almost to the end. Good luck to that guy. Yep, that was another three-wheeler. I think there was 3 or 4 of them entered. It seems to be a trend. They're getting more and more entries every year from these guys that want to run the old school three-wheelers. All right, that was the first trick truck through. That was number 32, Ryan Arciero, freaking hauling the mail. He's been up front all day long. Looks like he's gonna bring this one home. I didn't catch the number on that truck there, but he's not running super fast right now because he's got 2 motorcycles in front of him. There's not a whole lot of passing room up here. I don't know if you guys could hear that, but he just turned the siren on. The trophy truck just turned the siren on to go ahead and let those motorcycle guys know that they better get the heck out of the way. Now, for those of you who were wondering why we brought the old 1009 out instead of private parts, and I'll show you why. That stuff up there can turn from a nice shade from the sun into a torrential downpour in about 30 seconds. And so, and we had that yesterday and the day before yesterday, about this time of day. So that's the reason why we brought the old 1009, so that if it starts really coming down hard, we can go ahead and old PFC Butters and myself could get in out of the rain. So that's the reason why we don't have private parts with us today. There we go. That was the first of the spec trophy truck class. So I expect that we should have some of these guys coming a little bit. Oh yeah. I love the spec trophy truck class, because these guys are competitive. And there we have the first open wheel, or class 1 1500 for Best in the Desert car come through. All right, folks, it is getting almost too dark to get any real good footage. So I'm going to go ahead and end it here. And if I get any more footage afterwards, well, I'll put it on after the outro. So at any rate, I want to thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. And remember, please like, share, and subscribe. Like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one. Ha! Couldn't have timed that outro better. That second bike, I guarantee, is going to be hugging it real close to that first one. And this is not the first time I've seen this before. At any rate, thanks again for watching, and like I said, we'll see you on the next one.